That's how we write it up. That's the Steelers' W script right there. Keep it close, ball out in the fourth quarter, win the game. The refs tried their hardest to play the villain, but ultimately the good guys went out. It was one of those, with how the Steelers played, with how the Titans played, no turnovers. Both teams just played their style of football. Who was going to blink first? And we know for sure the Steelers didn't blink first. We ended up with that dub. Both teams were playing that bend but don't break type of defense, control the ball, run the ball. I mean, both teams were running the ball pretty good. I mean, Derrick Henry, give him credit, but Jaylen Warren, Najee Harris, they were doing some dynamic stuff in the run game for us. Thunder and lightning. That's what you love to see. But yeah, we didn't blink. We did not blink. You saw the stat. Kenny Pickett. I think we need to fact check this stat, though. End of the game, you saw it on Amazon Prime. We need to fact check it. He had second most after this game. That's second most fourth quarter comebacks, like game-winning drives in the NFL over the last 2 years. The total number for that for Pickett is 7. The first guy, though, that they had was Kirk Cousins with 8. I think we got to fact check that. I think that was fake news, though. I think that was fake news. Either way, Kenny is showing that clutch factor again and again. And I'm seeing a lot of Canada stuff in the chat. Sideline Canada, undefeated. And you are right. That was the main story heading into this game. It was reported hours leading up to this one that Matt Canada was going to go from the booth to on field to try to switch things up and have direct communication with Pickett and the rest of the offensive players. And before we get into how the game started, once I heard that news, I was legitimately concerned for that man's health. I was legitimately concerned for that man's safety. Was he going to get stuff thrown at him from the fans? A beer can? Who knows? Don't West Virginia people, don't they throw batteries on the field? Stuff like that. Who knows? Who knows what could have been tossed at this man? If we would have had like 3 or 4 3-and-outs in a row, it could have got hostile. I think the Fire Canada chants even would have been particularly louder than normal. You also have potentially a Pickens confrontation with Canada on the sideline if he's not getting the ball enough. Who knows? These were the things I was thinking about heading into this game with Canada being on the sideline. But it couldn't have started out better for the offense and for Matt Canada, because this was the best drive for the offense, best opening drive for the offense we've seen. It felt like to me in 2 to 3 years, but this was our first opening drive touchdown this year. So there's that. But again, it felt like it's been 2 or 3 years since we've had an opening drive touchdown. But the facts are out there, or not the facts. The data is out there that we did have an opening drive touchdown against Carolina last year with Mitch Trubisky. So there's that. I forgot about that. That was that game we were, pulling together 10, 11, 12-minute type of drives. I guess we did it in the first one. I guess I got too short of a memory. But, yeah, that was the last time we did it. Felt like forever ago, even though we did do it late in 2022. But this was the first time we did it in 2023. And it was good. Not only that drive, because we were seeing mixing and matching of plays. We were seeing some sweeps, some motion, wide receiver screens, even some running backs screens tossed in there. I like that. There was a balance. There was a flow. And not only in that first drive, we were consistently moving the ball, even though it didn't always end how we would have liked in 7. We were not doing 3-and-outs. We were at least moving the chains a little bit, getting it over midfield. We looked like a legitimate NFL offense, a competent offense. And it could have been better if there wasn't some misses in the red zone with Pickett throwing that one short to Allen Robinson. George Pickens on that corner route, didn't get the toe tap, didn't get the Tony toe tap in there. And that was disappointing too. That's back-to-back weeks with Pickens where we're so used to him making those type of plays like it's nothing. Now, the one last week was harder because he had barely any room to work with between the actual field and the sideline. But this one, I mean, that's a given for Pickens. He was just getting lazy on that. That should have been a touchdown. But yeah, I mean, the offense has looked good since the bye. To Matt Canada's credit, to whoever else credit you want to give it to. I mean, you got to give props to the players too. You got to give props, even though I think they've weirdly been more inconsistent than Canada since the bye. They've been more inconsistent. There's been stretches of series or quarters where I feel like the players aren't executing enough. But what we can say is they are executing when I hate that word too. Execute. It's been used way too much in football circles and football media this year. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. Can't we just say you got to throw the ball better? You got to catch the ball, play better instead of execute. It's like it's just such a fancy buzzword. I hate saying it. I'm sorry. I use it a couple times right there. But yeah, I think there are moments from these last 3 weeks where it's the players not getting the job done, less than Canada. And again, we're getting it done when it matters, though. And that's why in this game, I felt the same way as I did going into halftime of the Jaguars game. We're going to win this. Don't worry. Unfortunately, in the Jaguars game, Kenny Pickett didn't come out in the second half. But we're going to win this. We're keeping it close. Particularly now we're at home, under the lights. Tomlin going up against the rookie quarterback. Trust me, Kenny Pickett, this offense, they'll deliver. Defense is going to do their job. And that's exactly what happened. And I know you guys were tweeting at me. I know you guys were commenting to me on Instagram. Even my buddy, friend group message. I know you guys have group messages going and everything. You guys talk shop with your friends about the game as the game's going on. My one buddy, man, he goes, it was 9:42 p.m. He says, Levis over Pickett. This is just based off the first half. Here's proof that your boy knows ball. I say that's going to be a freezing cold take after this second half concludes. Who outplayed who in the second half? What quarterback won the game? What quarterback threw the game-winning touchdown, and what quarterback threw the game-losing pick? Which 8 won the game? KP8. That's who won. All right, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to run through my positives / winners from this game and also negatives / losers. And then we'll just finish up the stream reacting to your comments. How's that sound? First positive / winner, Broderick Jones. O-line as a whole played really solid, I thought. You saw it in that first drive. Kenny Pickett had time. You could see what Kenny Pickett is capable of when he has time in the pocket. He can nickel and dime a defense. He can dial things up. But Broderick Jones, I would say the first biggest story was Matt Canada going to the sideline, going from the booth to the sideline. And then the second one was Broderick Jones starting at right tackle in place of Chooks. Chooks, the guy that we gave a multi-year, double-digit plus per year contract a couple years ago. Broderick Jones is starting over that guy, not Dan Moore, not the 4th round pick from a couple years ago. Not at Broderick Jones' actual position of left tackle. He goes to right tackle out of nowhere. Was anyone expecting that? No one was, but he played really good. Dare I say, he was the best of the 2 tackles on our team in this game. I felt like he was giving up less pressure than Dan Moore on the other side. And I bet you a lot of you aren't surprised by that. I'm not as surprised either, given that Broderick Jones was taken, in the top 15 this year. We traded up to get him and everything. And we got to see his performance against the Ravens a couple weeks ago in his first start at left tackle against Jadeveon Clowney, and he held his own. So why wouldn't he hold his own at right tackle against a lesser defensive line with the Tennessee Titans? So, yeah, shout out to Broderick Jones. Shout out to the O-line as a whole. They were opening up running lanes. I thought Pickett had more time than he's usually had this year, and I got them as my second positive or second winner of the day. Next, JPJ. He is more on the positive slash winner side than negatives slash losers, mainly because of his coverage. His coverage, dude, he is locked down, absolutely locked down. And the refs tried to give the Titans a second chance, a second win after that fourth down call on JPJ. That what was it? It was either a holding or a illegal contact. That was clean, man. Both him and D Hop were going at it, and they just decided that JPJ's little jersey I mean, it was the slightest of jersey tugs was more impactful than D Hop. Like I swear D Hop was literally pushing him off as he was getting to the top of his route. I mean, it could have gone either way, but yeah, of course the refs wanted to side with the Titans. And then literally the next call or the next play, TJ Watt, clear as day, getting held, trying to get to Levis. So that's what energy the refs was on at the end of the game there, trying to extend it, trying to make our hearts pound a little bit faster than probably what it should have. Felt like we had that game locked up. After we got that touchdown, we got the stop. That's when Treylon Burks got hurt and everything. The fourth down, the incompletion there down the field. We got the ball back. I thought the game was locked up. I thought we were fine. We knew we were going to run the ball and force the Titans to go the length of the field with one timeout. And, yeah, we did our jobs, but it was just the refs that got in the way, given that fourth down defensive pass interference call to JPJ. Whatever. Again, it wasn't defensive pass interference. It was like a holding or illegal contact, something like that. But, yeah, I think JPJ in coverage, lockdown, had a couple penalties pop up there. Now, I do think the ones that took place in the middle of the play were ticky-tacky calls by the refs. I just mentioned that fourth down one there, but there was another one. There might have been a second one, but the offsides one was the boneheaded play. Although, did they call that on him? I can't remember if they called that on him, but it's not only that, some of the little penalties that are popping up with JPJ, but then the tackling is egregious. Like, he doesn't look like he knows how to do it. It looks like he needs to be coached up again in, like, peewee football. Like, man, he's not even I can't say he's not trying. He just again, it doesn't look like he knows how to do it. His dad's gotta get on him this week. Next one, we're sticking with the secondary. Darius Rush. Now, he dropped that easy interception that Levis threw him at the end of the game. That would have been nice. He would have started to make a name for himself within Steeler Nation there. But just the fact that he got PT throughout the game, like I noticed number 21 out there, and I was like, who's that? I thought we got rid of Trey Norwood, but then I realized it was Darius Rush, and he didn't get cooked at all. It seemed like he held his own, did his job, and then almost made the splash play at the end. TJ and Highsmith, they were getting after it all game, as they should have been with the Titans O-line being decimated like it was. Cam Hayward looked good. First game back. Didn't re-injure anything, but also made some plays in the run game. Najee and Jalen, I mentioned them in the beginning. Their rushing yard total combined. Jalen had 87 yards. Najee Harris had 69. And Najee had a touchdown. What's my math here? 7 + 9, 6. Carry the 1. 156 combined for those two. Then you had Calvin Austin with 11. Pickett had at -1. I guess that's with the QB Neal. For a total of 166 on the ground. Impressive, man. Yeah, over 150 with Najee and Jalen. Najee had 4.3 yards per carry. Jalen had 7.9. It was awesome to see. It looked like how we were running things at the end of the Rams game, but we did it pretty much from the whistle blow, the start of the first quarter, all the way to the end. Beautiful, beautiful stuff. Steeler football right there. Steeler football, ground and pound, and then your quarterback grits it out, comes up clutch. We also got George Pickens blocking. He didn't do much in the receiving game, but I'd be remiss if I didn't mention his blocking. And you know who told me to say this? He wanted to make sure I mentioned this was my dad. So if you guys want to give a shout out to my dad, and let him know that he knows ball in the chat. Go for it, because he was like, Eric, man, what you call? Yeah, he called me by my actual name, not Deke. He's like, Eric, you see some of this Pickens blocking? Like, make sure you mention this on the stream. And I did. He did it a couple times. The last one was on that sweep to Jaylen Warren on, it was 3rd and short. That was pretty impressive. And he didn't do anything extra to make sure that he didn't get a flag on it. So that was good. But he had a couple others throughout the game. And then last guy I got to mention is Deontay. You got Deontay picking up where he left off. You got Deontay being Deontay. At a couple drops, you're going to get that. But at the same time was making some awesome plays and was Pickett's go-to guy, particularly in that 4th quarter. Amazing catch down the sideline. And you heard Herbstreit really, really talk him up with how he was using his hands. Didn't put him out too quick, kept the DB guessing, then last second flashed him out there, got the catch, and absolutely big play. Great throw by Pickett, obviously, but huge catch by Deontay. And then caught the touchdown, caught the easy touchdown, ran the nice route, was wide open, but, he hadn't caught a touchdown in a minute. You never know with that type of stuff. You can maybe get into your head too much. Is the catch too easy and you bobble it a little bit, but nope. And it was, a touchdown that we needed. It was like the game-winning touchdown. So all those factors in play could put extra pressure on just such a simple catch. You never know. Particularly with Deontay, but he left no questions with that one. Great play all around from him, I'd say today, even outside of a couple of those drops. 7 receptions, 90 yards, and a touchdown. Some of the negatives from this game, though. Cole Holcomb getting hurt, that really sucked. Really, really sucked. I don't know what that's going to be. That looked bad. That looked really bad. He hit into, was that Keanu Neal? Keanu Neal was trying to make the tackle, hit right into Cole Holcomb's knee, was ruled out pretty much immediately after he was carted off. So hopefully that's not a season-ending injury like an ACL or anything like that, but we'll see. Hopefully he gets back. I like our linebacker depth, but Cole Holcomb's been really good for us this year. He's been a part of our rotation, and I don't want to lose him. He's been, correct me if I'm wrong, he's been the guy with the green dot. He's been the one communicating all that on defense. That would be a big loss. Pat P, that one that he should have picked would have made up for it, and I wouldn't include him in the negatives list. But again, we were just seeing like too many times he's getting cooked. And this wasn't even D-Hop this time. Although we did see the one in the end zone that Levis missed. He just ran across her over the middle, and Pat P was a step or two behind. But it's like the Titans' like 3rd or 4th receiver that was cooking Pat P. So that's been tough to witness. And then my last thing on the negatives is the Steelers' run defense. But it's mixed because ultimately they got the job done late in the game in the 4th quarter. But Henry was starting to go off, midway through the game. But I think this is the caveat. This is why I say it's mixed for me. We were missing our starting nose tackle on Travis Adams. So we didn't have a true nose tackle out there. He got hurt pretty early on in the game. I like that we were aggressive, not only on the D-line, but just from a front 7 standpoint, the D-line and the linebackers. We were aggressive. We were getting after it. We weren't shying away from contact. But the Titans O-line, as banged up as it was, they were opening up some lanes. And I get it. I mean, Derrick Henry, he's one of the top 5 backs in the league. When he's right, he is the best running back in the league. And he's tough to tackle. That could wear on a defense. And Titans, to their credit, they'll stick with him. They'll consistently stick with him, try to wear down the defense, not turn the ball over. And, yeah, that can happen. But I do think ultimately it was a mix of positive and negative for the Steelers' run defense. But there was just some stuff that I wasn't liking, though, throughout the game. Like, I think Derrick Henry was getting off for too many big runs. We'll just say that way. But with how we ended, you could make a case that you could throw the Steelers' run defense in the positive category, whatever way you want to spit it. But whenever I wrote this in the negatives, it was like, 3rd quarter, early 4th quarter. But all right, that's all I got to say for now. let me see what you guys got in the chat. I'll react to it, and then we'll get up out of here. And then we'll celebrate Victory Friday tomorrow. Victory Friday. Those hit different. Cookie, well, hold on, no, not Cookie Cutter. I'm sorry. You guys are really in the chat, man. You guys are live right now. Shout out to you. It's just jumping on me. So there was Cookie Cutter had a comment, but I want to read T. Lewis's first. T. Lewis 2115 said, I can't talk bad about Levi for a week. Yeah. Maybe that's his role on the team. Maybe he's our perfect third cornerback after JPJ. After JPJ and Pat P, at least. Maybe he's our perfect third corner because we didn't see him out there as much. Obviously, Tomlin stuck to his word. JPJ is going to be that guy. But when Wallace was out there, he didn't get cooked. So, hey, there's the silver lining, right? There's the silver lining. Marvin, Emba, refs sucked again. Yes, they did. You are right. But here's what I will say about the refs. They did give us one. The roughing the passer on Kenny Pickett. That was just a normal tackle by Jeffrey Simmons. Not roughing the passer in my book, but we were definitely owed that. Not only because they called another one of those cheap roughing the passers early in this game on Will Levis. I forget who it was. It was a BS one. But then, obviously, we know the story from last game and how we got robbed of that. So we were owed. We're probably owed at least one more. So keep a lookout for that. Hopefully, if we get an incomplete pass or something, maybe we'll throw a cheap flag in our direction in next week's Packers game. But we were owed that. Yeah, and you saw down the stretch. I didn't have too many complaints about the refs outside of, a ticky-tack, like defensive pass interference call like they called on, JPJ like earlier in the game. But then that last drive, they were trying to give it away to the Titans. For the most part, I didn't think the refs were as bad as last week against the Jaguars. I guess that's what I'm saying. They weren't amazing. I didn't think they were terrible. They were average. I thought they were average for the whole game outside of that last drive. They were average. That's going to happen. You're going to get a bad call here or there, but obviously, the Jaguars game, there were way too many bad calls, and they were all going against us. But hold on. Who's the next comment? I mentioned your name. Cookie Cutter, yeah. No. That's not the right one. Hold on. I missed your comment, bro. The chat jumped too much. Shout out to you guys, though. Shout out to you guys for being in the chat. All right, I got it. Found it. It says, I'm kind of surprised the drive before their last one that they didn't just keep running because we couldn't stop it. They honestly could have just ran the game out, been in position to score at the end. Yeah, like I said, they were having success in the run game, like middle of the game. It was, second and third quarter. They were getting some gashes on us. But maybe if they started to do it too much, they'd be playing their hand. They'd be showing their hand, and we would get the sense that, they're not going to try to let Levis do anything late in the game, and we would just start teeing off against them in the run game. You know what I mean? They would start to become too predictable, and when that happens, as you saw late in the game there, we were able to stop it. Like their second to last series, we stopped them pretty good in the run game. When we felt like, okay, this is like 95% chance they're going to run the ball, we got after it. We made the stop. So maybe that's why. I'm just spitballing right here. I'm going off the top of the dome, but that might be why they abandon it at least a little bit more than how much they were consistently running throughout the course of the game. B. Pelkey 26 says Broderick has to start from here on out. Absolutely. There's not a question about it. Not a question. What else we got here, man? Stick God says Matt Canada is doing pretty good. Just needs to fix the coaching, and Kenny needs to hit those passes. Yeah, here's my thing, though, man. Yes, Kenny does need to hit some of those passes. I'm not trying to make all these excuses for him. At the same time, I feel like Steeler Nation is extremely hypersensitive to every pass that he misses. Because if you watch all the games that are going to be taking place this upcoming Sunday, quarterbacks are going to miss passes. Quarterbacks are going to miss passes that you're going to say to yourself, man, he should have missed that. Yeah, that was a bad miss. That was on, third down, and that stopped the drive. Oh, well, you punt, and, the game moves on. But when it matters in the second half, and again, not making excuses, we want those passes to hit in the first half too. Like, it does all matter. But when it really, really matters, the dude does deliver. Can you deny it? Larsk, AOD, do you see GP long term with the Steelers? Absolutely. Pickett and Pickens, man. That's the future. B Perry 24 says, I swear I almost had 3 heart attacks in the fourth quarter, and I was on my knees praying for an interception to end the game. Yeah, Levis gave us 2 opportunities. Actually, 3 opportunities on that final drive. He almost threw one to Pat P at some point in the second half. Was that I think that was early fourth quarter? Just some point in the fourth quarter. It might have been later in the game. I don't know. But he almost threw one to Pat P. He almost threw one to Levi Wallace. I think that was on that last drive. I'm not even going to say almost threw one to Darius Rush. He threw one to Darius Rush, went right through his hands. At least the Levi Wallace one was kind of contested between him and Hopkins. Darius Rush, I mean, that was, come on, bro. Catch the ball. And then, he actually threw the one to Quan Alexander. So, yeah, I mean, he could have like 4 picks on his stat line. Although, if he would have thrown the one to Levi Wallace, he wouldn't have had the opportunity to throw those other 2 almost picks, or one that I'm confusing myself right now. We're good. You get what I'm saying. You guys get what I'm saying. T. Lewis 2115. Sideline Canada is a must. That's the best we have looked so far. Yeah, I think we got to stick with it. Stick with what's working. We got an opening series touchdown. Like, right there is a huge plus for the offense. A huge thing that we haven't seen from this offense in a while. Going back to, what was it, week 15, 16 against Carolina last year. But I'm telling you, before that Carolina game, wasn't it like another year or like another, 15, 16, 17 weeks before we had an opening series touchdown? They're few and far between. So we're 1 for 1. Sideline Canada, opening series touchdown. And I'll tell you this, I don't like when we receive the ball at the beginning of the game when we have the option. I'd always rather kick, because then you get the ball at halftime. That's just a Madden thing. That's why I like to do in Madden. I just like to think it's an extra series you're getting the ball in a way once you get that coming out of halftime. But Tomlin sometimes, I mean, he likes to be aggressive. He likes to start off and set the tone, and it worked. This game, it absolutely worked. Because once we scored that touchdown, you saw the defense, man. You could see it in the players' like body language. I know we ended up giving up a field goal on that first drive, but you could tell, man, that defense was fired up that the offense put something on the board. But no, that's my thing. If it's my choice, I'd always defer. Always defer. Get the ball at half. Marvin Emba says, if run game looks the way it looked tonight, we can actually be dangerous. Absolutely. That looked better. So the style of offense we had going tonight was reminiscent of late 2022. And I was fond of that. But I think tonight was even better than late 2022, because we got splash, man. Like, we got runs that were going for like 15, 20 yards. And then I'm trying to think, with Pickett, did we have any like big passing plays? I can't remember. We took shots, though. That's the one thing. We took shots. He took the deep shot to Calvin Austin. Didn't connect on it. I think it hit Austin's hands, but it could be argued that Pickett underthrew it a little bit. Who do you want to blame? I think it's like the chicken or the egg. Yeah, could the pass have been better? Also, it hit the receiver's hands. I feel like if it hits the receiver's hands, you should catch it. But yeah, I think the offense had the formula, had the foundation that we had going in 2022, running the ball, taking care of it, controlling the clock, you know, getting down into the Titans' end, whether it was red zone or not, and putting points up on the board. I know we wanted more touchdowns at the end of last year, but points are points. Points are points, and we were able to punch that one in late, the Kenny signature game-winning drive. But I just felt like there was more splash to this game than almost any of those other games that we saw last year, which is promising, which is good, which is really good. Happy that we're getting Jalen Warren more involved because he deserves it. Absolutely deserves it. You see what he could do when he gets more than 5 carries. Dude, he only had like 10 carries, 11 carries, 87 yards, 7.9 per carry. There's an argument we should be getting him the ball more. But it worked. The combo worked tonight. B. Perry 24 says Pickens should have toe tapped in the end zone. Yeah, I don't know what he was doing. Don't know what he was doing there. Cookie Cutter says the 25-yarder to DJ on the sideline. The last drive was a great throw and tremendous catch. Yep. Defense 1. Hayward gets more targets, and we need to hit him more in the red zone as well. Yeah, him or even Darnell Washington. Darnell Washington had that catch today. But yeah, Darnell's a big target in the red zone. Hayward, he's good. He's a shifty player. He can find holes in the zones, be a quarterback-friendly target. So yeah, those are definitely options going forward for helping us out in the red zone. Absolutely. Absolutely. Defense 1 mentions Marcus Golden as well. Yeah, Marcus Golden had a good game. Marcus Golden. Yeah, let me think of some specific players on defense that I missed. Marcus Golden. Monty Casey was making some tackles, like last resort type of tackles, Minka type of tackles out there. Give him his props. I mentioned Darius Rush. I didn't really get to see Pierre out there. Quan Alexander. Yeah, Quan Alexander. Landon Roberts, man. Night and day between him and Devin Bush trying to stop the run. Night and day. Absolutely night and day. And then, yeah, I think you got to give some props to the D line, even though again we're missing Montravius Adams, but the effort we had from the D lineman, the rotation that we had going with Cam Hayward, Keanu Benton, Ogunjobi, we had Liao out there at times, even Loudermilk. You got to give them props for just that effort, man. Just that effort. It wasn't pretty, particularly in the middle of the game. Henry was going off for a little bit here and there, but they held up. They held up. All right, I'm going to get to a few more, and then I'm out of here. Javi Berg says he saved the TDD. Give him props. You talking about Casey? That's what I'm talking about. Yeah, the tackle. If Casey didn't make that tackle, was it Henry? Whoever had the ball, I think it was Henry. He was off to the races. Maximum T. Seconds, what I just said. Linebacker stepped up. Landon, Marcus, and Quan. And hey, did you guys see what I predicted happened? We moved TJ Watt and Highsmith to like that rover inside position to try to help stop the run. I know, ball. Marvin Emba says Broderick is a stud. Yep. 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 6 Steel Ring says Pickett would have had 2 touchdown passes if Pickens would learn to drag his toe. That's the weird part. Pickens knows how to do that. It was maybe too easy of a toe tap for Pickens. He's used to having way less room from the field to the sideline and making crazy acrobatic catches. But yeah, he would have had 2 touchdowns. I mean, Pickett could have had, that could have been like a 3 touchdown type of game for Pickett because he even missed one. He missed the Robinson one, threw it a little low. And then, yeah, I guess you could even argue the Calvin Austin one if he would have laid it out there a little bit more. Who knows? But all right, I think I'm out of here. Man, good to get a dub, man. Good to get a dub. 5-3. So we're definitely behind the Ravens still for top of the AFC North. They're at least a game ahead of us because they're 6-2. They're 6-2. We're 5-3. We have the tiebreaker over them if we were to match up the records at some point. But yeah, we're probably, because we have some good tiebreakers. We're undefeated in the division right now. We've beat a bunch of AFC opponents. So we got to be the 5 seed right now if the season ended today. But there's a lot of season left. We just got to keep winning. Keep winning. This was a game we needed to catch the dub. We got Packers coming up this week. I know we're happy. I know we got a lot of optimism. It feels like we're riding a pretty good wave right now. I know people could talk about the Jaguars loss, but I'm telling you, it just felt like an incomplete game because Pickett got hurt. We didn't get to go into the second half with our QB1. But coming out of the bye with that Rams game, this game, I feel like we're riding a nice wave right now. We're riding a nice trend. I guess what I'm saying is we can't get too far ahead of ourselves. We can't be feeling ourselves too much here because we don't want a Tomlin loss. We don't want a Tomlin game against the Packers. We got to still lock in. But the Packers game clearly is one we should win. But I know a lot of people are going to be thinking, yeah, this is a Tomlin type of one, right? This is a Tomlin type of loss. It ain't happening. It ain't happening. No, not at home. I'm gonna be in the building for that one too. I'm gonna be in the building. We ain't losing. Get that Packers one. 6-3, and then we got some divisional games after that. Take care of business in those. But hey, shout out to you guys. Always make it fun when you stop through. Shout out to the Steelers for the dub. Shout out to Bleach Report for having me back on. Talking ball, talking Steelers. But stay chilling. Enjoy the rest of your night. Stay safe. Peace.